Inside the mind of a technical founder. Neel Somani on scaling high-growth startups. Discover how technical founder Neel Somani built Eclipse into a several $100 million blockchain startup and what his journey from Citadel Quant to AI researcher teaches founders about scaling in emerging technology. Startup leadership often gets framed as vision first, execution second. Technical founders tend to invert that equation. They start with a deep understanding of existing tech and first principles, and vision emerges from understanding where existing solutions fall short. Neel Somani built his career on that advantage. A researcher and entrepreneur with deep roots in machine learning, quantitative research, and blockchain infrastructure, Somani represents a new archetype of technical founder. He is best known as the founder of Eclipse, Ethereum's fastest Layer 2 platform powered by the Solana virtual machine, a company that raised $50 million in Series A funding and quickly became a serious player in blockchain infrastructure. But Eclipse is only part of the story. Somani's trajectory, from quantitative researcher at Citadel to Web3 founder to AI research advocate, offers a blueprint for founders building in emerging technology innovation where markets are volatile, narratives shift, and technical rigor is the only durable competitive advantage. Before startup leadership, there was problem solving at scale. Somani began as a quantitative researcher in Citadel's commodities group, applying mathematical models to global markets. The work required speed, precision, and comfort with uncertainty. Markets move. Assumptions break. Models require constant revision. That mindset carries directly into entrepreneurship. His academic foundation was equally rigorous. At UC Berkeley, he completed a triple major in computer science, mathematics, and business administration, contributing to research in type systems, differential privacy, and scalable machine learning frameworks. That blend of theory and application matters. It trained him to think about systems, not just products. For developers considering entrepreneurship, the lesson is clear: technical depth is not a liability in startup leadership. It is often the edge. Blockchain entrepreneurship is not for operators seeking stability. It is an industry defined by narrative swings, regulatory ambiguity, and infrastructure that is often still being invented. Eclipse entered that environment with a specific thesis: modularity would define the next generation of blockchain scaling. Rather than treating Ethereum as a monolith, Eclipse integrated the Solana virtual machine to create performance advantages without abandoning Ethereum's ecosystem. This was not an incremental iteration. It was architectural conviction. Founders building in emerging markets face a constant tension between shipping quickly and building correctly. Somani's approach suggests that technical founders can lean into architecture as strategy. When markets are noisy, infrastructure clarity becomes differentiated. Emerging technology innovation rewards teams that understand the primitives deeply enough to recombine them in new ways. It punishes surface-level understanding. Raising $50 million in Series A funding is validation. It is also pressure. High-growth startups often break under the weight of their own momentum. Hiring accelerates. Decision-making diffuses. Founders who once wrote core code spend their days in meetings. For technical founders, this transition can be destabilizing. Somani's path illustrates an important evolution in startup leadership. Early stage advantage comes from technical contribution. Later stage advantage comes from preserving technical standards while building an organization capable of independent execution. That requires three critical shifts. 1. Hire for intellectual autonomy. In cutting-edge sectors like blockchain and AI, managers cannot micromanage solutions. They must recruit engineers and researchers who operate from first principles. 2. Protect long-term thinking. Infrastructure companies must resist short-term feature pressure. Performance and reliability compound over time. 3. Separate ego from architecture. Founders who built the first version are not automatically the best designers of version 5. Scaling startups requires adaptability, not attachment. Markets like Web3 and artificial intelligence are structurally uncertain. Regulatory frameworks evolve. Capital cycles compress and expand. Technical breakthroughs reshape assumptions overnight. Somani's career reflects comfort with volatility rather than avoidance of it. His background in quantitative research reinforced a key founder trait: Treat uncertainty as data, not drama. Actionable lessons for founders navigating uncertainty. Pick a lane, lock into a narrative loudly and try to make it happen. If it doesn't work, pivot aggressively. Avoid overfitting your company to a single trend cycle or investor theme. The best companies are not built on existing trends, they define them. Invest in technical depth that survives hype cycles. Fundamentals outlast sentiment. Blockchain entrepreneurship has experienced boom and bust waves. Artificial intelligence is now accelerating at extraordinary speed. In both cases, founders who anchor to fundamentals outperform those who chase sentiment. There is a broader shift underway in startup ecosystems. Increasingly, engineers and researchers are founding companies rather than simply joining them. Deep technical knowledge does more than improve product quality, it reshapes strategic decision-making. A technical founder understands constraints intimately, evaluates trade-offs without intermediaries, and is harder to mislead. In emerging technology innovation, that matters enormously. When infrastructure claims are exaggerated and timelines are speculative, technical credibility becomes currency. Investors, partners, and customers recognize the difference between narrative fluency and architectural fluency. The takeaway for developers considering entrepreneurship: you do not need to abandon your engineering identity to lead. In high-complexity markets, it may be your greatest asset. Somani's experience across machine learning, quantitative finance, and blockchain infrastructure surfaces several actionable lessons for startup operators. Build on fundamentals. Technical shortcuts create long-term fragility, especially in infrastructure companies. Design for agility before scaling. Scaling prematurely makes pivoting expensive, which is untenable for early-stage startups. Separate market cycles from mission. Hype rises and falls. Architecture endures. Evolve personally as the company grows. Founder identity must expand beyond builder to include recruiter, strategist, and culture setter. Invest in the ecosystem. Somani's personal scholarship program reflects a long-term commitment to developing the next generation of talent, because high-growth startups don't operate in isolation. While Eclipse established Somani's reputation in blockchain entrepreneurship, his broader interests now extend into machine learning and artificial intelligence research. That pivot reflects a larger industry migration. Technically sophisticated founders who built in crypto are increasingly moving into AI, drawn by its foundational impact. The shift is structural, not opportunistic. Artificial intelligence, like blockchain before it, is redefining infrastructure. Questions around interpretability, safety, and scalability echo earlier debates about decentralization and performance. AI-native startups will face the same pressures Eclipse did: rapid capital inflows, aggressive timelines, and unresolved technical challenges. Those who approach the space with architectural rigor rather than narrative enthusiasm will likely endure. Startup leadership is often romanticized as charisma and conviction. In technical domains, it looks different. It is the willingness to engage with complexity directly, the discipline to prioritize system design over surface metrics, and the patience to let infrastructure mature. Neel Somani's career reflects a consistent throughline: build where the problems are hard and the architecture matters. Trends change. Capital shifts. Industries rebrand themselves. Deep technical understanding and disciplined execution remain durable. In markets defined by uncertainty, durability is the ultimate competitive advantage.